I saw a dude in a BMW the other day actually use his turn signal, and I almost called the police. Oh wait, that was me in my M3. Anyways, this is what your car brand says about you. Starting with BMW. If you drive one, you either genuinely love performance, or you downloaded TikTok, saw one M car with a burble tune, and decided this was your entire personality. And I'm not gonna be boring and say, oh yeah, they don't use turn signals, that's already known. But what they will do is tailgate you in the left lane even if you're going 50 over the speed limit. There's two types of GDM3 owners. People who own these cars while they were the most hated on the planet because of the grille, or the people who got their car because it is the most popular car on the internet right now. And since these are so popular, you have people that have no idea how to drive a 500 horsepower car trying to look cool, turning these into the next Mustang. You see these crash all the time now. If anyone's partying out in M3, hit me up. Then we have X3M and X4M owners. And these are the people that wanted an M3 or an M4, but wanted to save $20,000, but will fight till they can't stop breathing about how this car is basically an M3 or an M4, just a bit bigger. Then we have the M Light owners. You know, the M240s, M340s, and M440s. They'll sit here and tell you that they're the exact same as an M car, and the only reason they got it is because they said the S55 and S58 don't sound good. But realistically, they couldn't afford the real M. Don't get me wrong, the B58 is a modern 2J, but let's be real, it'll never be an M. Then we have the marketplace specials. Any Beamer with a 20 in it, and the owner bought it strictly because it says BMW on the hood, and literally nothing else. It could have a poverty exhaust, halogen headlights, no infotainment, but as long as it says BMW in it, then they're happy. And don't even get me started on the M5 CS guys calling it a supercar killer. It's one of the most overhyped cars, and the GT63 clears it. Google it yourself. Next is everyone's favorite brand, Tesla. Tesla owners are a different breed because half of them don't even like Elon. They will literally slap on other brands' badges just so they don't associate themselves with him. And I genuinely think people bought a Cybertruck just because they wanted strangers to stare at them. And to be honest, it worked. The owners of these cars are absolutely crying because of how overhyped this car was. And now it's depreciated like crazy and still looks as terrible as it was brand new. Get that dumpster out of my face. And Plaid owners, I feel, are the only valid cars that Tesla makes, and that's only because it's fast. This is the only electric car that actually terrifies supercars. And this is a very niche selection. We have the Tesla Roadster owners. Yes, we didn't forget about you. You're still waiting for your allocation. I'm sorry to tell you, but you might have to wait another 20 years. That car is never coming out. They bought the car thinking, I'm gonna save so much money on gas, and then realize insurance, tires, depreciation, and charging still exists. But I'll give Tesla this. Off the line, these things are stupid quick, and I take a Model S any day of the week. The problem is Tesla owners will race anything at a red light just to prove they're fast, like we get it, dude. But somehow it's still more boring than a 200 horsepower Miata. Next is Dodge, and if you drive a Hellcat, there's a 90% chance your entire personality is supercharger wine, sliding through intersections, or you're just a hazard to society. Honestly, these cars are sick, but the image of these cars got completely ruined. There's the guy who actually went to the dealership to buy one, or there's the guy who stole it. Then we've got the V6 Charger and Challenger owners. And it's safe to say that you walked into a dealership, tried to get a Scat Pack or a Hellcat, and your credit score said not today. Putting a V6 in those cars is the biggest crime, and I'd rather buy a smart car than one of those. You're better off just saving up for another year to get the V8, and nobody gets bullied more by their own community than V6 Charger owners. And what's worse than being a V6 Charger owner is not buying your car accessories from Temu. Literally anything you can think of, you can probably find for really cheap. I got this complete haul of items for my M3, and I actually use this stuff, like this super power turbofan that can blow crumbs and dirt out of the small areas you literally can't reach. Or if you detail your car all the time like me, because who actually goes to automatic car washes, I got a huge bag of cloth towels and a mini vacuum to make sure my M3 looks perfect all the time. And we all need a socket wrench and screwdriver set, but the one thing I'm surprised Temu had was a literal blow-up mattress for the back seat. And I'm telling you, this would have came in clutch for my drive across all of Canada just to go pick up this car. And Temu has prepared an exclusive $300 coupon bundle offer for my fans this summer. Download the Temu app now and search my code in the Temu app search bar to claim your $300 coupon bundle. You can get so many car accessories, and make sure to claim the coupons before placing your order. Check Temu out. Anything you can think of, they probably have for your car. The link is in the description. And then the Dodge EV owners, these somehow managed to be worse than the V6 Chargers and Challengers. I don't even know what to say about this car. It's such wasted potential. The looks are awesome, but the EV was a letdown. But good news for Dodge lovers, the V8 is coming back to the Charger, so you might be saved. And finally, we have Dodge owners, and these guys are like gods in the Dodge world. Dodge Vipers don't associate themselves with the rest of the Dodge brand, and I mean rightfully so. Next is Toyota, and Toyota owners act like their car was built by God himself. And honestly, they might be right. These things would run for 1 million miles with no oil change, 3 warning lights, and a missing bumper. Then you have Super owners. There's 2 categories of Super owners, the Mark IV owners and the Mark V owners. Then we have the Mark V Super owners, and these guys have spent the last 5 years fighting for their lives on the internet. Every comment section is just, it's a BMW, and honestly, at this point, I don't even think they care anymore. They'll tell you the B58 is a modern 2JZ, the car makes insane power with basic mods, and that Toyota made the right choice, and the worst part, they're kind of right. No matter what they do, they're still gonna call it a BMW. And the Mark IV owners either had this car before the hype or they overpaid for this car now and make the 2JZ their whole personality. GR86 owners will fight for their life saying it's not a BRZ and cope with the fact that their car has been slow for over a decade and looks the exact same.
No, 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 no.
Then we have Prius owners, and honestly, these guys are either the nicest people you'll ever meet, or they're somehow doing 20 under the speed limit in every single lane at the same time. Prius owners will spend $40,000 to save $8 on gas every month, and then remind you about it for the next 10 years, and if you tell them you drive a V8, they'll look at you like you personally melted an iceberg. And next is Mercedes. Mercedes drivers either have real money, or they bought a 12-year-old C-Class and immediately started acting like they made it. Mercedes is weird, because one minute they're making luxury cars that feel like private jets, and the next minute, some guy with a muffler delete is revving his C300 with AMG badges at a gas station. Then we have old C300 owners, and these guys bought a $6,000 Mercedes and immediately started acting like they own a dealership. The car has 240,000 miles, 17 warning lights, and a rattling timing chain, and an AMG badge from Amazon, but somehow they're still flexing it on Instagram. These people have spent more money on fixing the car than what they paid for. And then C63 owners, and I genuinely think these guys believe that the M156 and M177 V8s were sent down from heaven. Every conversation somehow comes back to, yeah, but it has a V8. It doesn't matter if you're talking about reliability, comfort, fuel economy, world hunger, somehow the answer is always V8. And honestly, I can't even blame them because every time one drives by, I snap my neck looking at it. And then we have the G-Wagon owners, and I swear these people buy a $250,000 off-road vehicle just to drive it downtown. This thing can climb mountains, cross rivers, and go places most trucks can't even dream of. Yet the biggest obstacle it sees is a speed bump outside of a luxury mall. Half the owners don't even know what four-wheel drive does, they bought it just for the tax write-off. And when Mercedes gets it right, they really get it right. I mean, look at the C63, CLS63, AMG GT, and S-Class. Absolute peak, leather seats, ambient lighting, and that iconic V8. Next is Jeep. Jeep people are a whole personality, and they have ducks on their dashboard, angry headlights, 37-inch tires, and somehow still drive at 42 miles per hour on the highway.
3, 2, 1, blast off.
And then we have Trackhawk owners, and these are bougie YNs who wanted a Hellcat but also needed room for groceries. This thing has absolutely no business being as fast as it is. It's literally a family SUV that embarrasses sports cars, and every Trackhawk owner spends half their life racing people and the other half checking if it's still parked where they left it. And then we have 392 Wrangler owners, and honestly, these guys are probably the coolest Jeep owners. They looked at a Wrangler and said, you know what this needs? A V8, which is objectively the correct answer. The only downside is these things get about 3 miles per gallon and handle like a shopping cart, but nobody cares because it sounds amazing. And next is Subaru, and there's one word to describe these guys, and I'll let you figure it out. I don't want to get demonetized. Subaru owners are either the chillest people alive, or they vape enough to change the weather. Then we have WRX owners, and these guys wake up every morning, hear a new engine noise, and just convince themselves it's normal. Every WRX owner either has a vape, a flat brim hat, or both. And somehow every single one of these cars has been modified. I've generally never seen a stock WRX in my life. They also drive like they're in a rally stage, even when they're just going to Walmart. But these cars are fun, they sound awesome, and they have all-wheel drive. But Subaru guys have been emotionally recovering from the head gasket jokes for the last 20 years. Then we have the BRZ owners, and these guys are basically GR86 owners, but somehow even more committed to being slow. They'll spend 15K modifying the car just to make the same horsepower as a stock Mustang. But honestly, I respect it because these guys actually care about driving. Plus, every BRZ owner has mastered the art of telling people that handling is more important than horsepower. And finally, Pontiac. If you drive a Pontiac, you're either 17 with a Grand Prix or 47 still telling people the GTO was underrated. Pontiac is one of those brands that died, but somehow still has more personality than half the cars on the road today. The G8, Firebird, and GTO, they have some actual sauce. And if you're still daily driving a Pontiac in 2026, I have nothing but respect for you because you're keeping the brand alive one breakdown at a time.